With Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. So for this show, we're going to go over market update. We're going to look at interest rates. We're going to look at the Philadelphia real estate market. But before we do that, let's look at the impact of presidential elections on the housing market. So the first thing, home sales went up 9 out of the last 11 elections. So last 11 election years, 9 times home sales went up. Also, existing home prices went up 7 out of the last 8 elections. Interest rates went down 8 of the last 11 presidential elections. So it didn't matter who won, doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, has nothing to do with that. It's just what happens during an election year for the president. Now, this information spans anywhere between 30 to 40 years. So it's a pretty good time span. Now, what is the interest rates currently? Now, there's a site, Mortgage News Daily, and in this site, they survey over 100 different lenders across the country. So it's not one specific rate. They do a survey, and they look at conventional rates, but they ask a couple questions. One, give me your rate for somebody who has a 780 and above credit score, somebody who's buying a primary residence, owner-occupied, they're moving in, single family, and putting 25% down. That rate right now is hovering around 6.5%. So we've made some good leeway here because interest rates have been around 7%. So rates have been coming down. Now we're going to talk about why rates have been coming down. Now, first of all, and I'm going to go into some predictions. So we have Fannie Mae, we have Zillow, we have NAR. They all come out with predictions and many others. They are all predicting in the fall and the winter, the fourth quarter of this year, interest rates being somewhere around 6.625. Now, they're lower than that now. Why are they lower? Well, because the unemployment numbers have gone up. So now they're all recalibrating and they're coming in now saying interest rates should fall by the end of the year somewhere around 6% to 6.25%. Now, why are the unemployment numbers so important? Well, the Fed has a dual mandate, okay? One, full employment. Second is keeping inflation low. Okay, so the employment numbers are big because we've been looking at inflation rates have been coming down. So they were as high as 9+%. Now they finally broke under 3% at 2.9. So the inflation numbers have been trending in the right direction. And I know everybody's going to turn around and say, hey, everything's still way too high. Everything still costs way too much money. Now, those inflation numbers coming down doesn't mean that the price, let's say, of eggs are going to come down. It just means they're not going to go up as fast. So if you have eggs at $4 a carton, then instead of it going to $4.50, maybe it's only going to go up $4.05. So once again, it's not going down in price. It's just the speed of increase in the price of those eggs are slowing down. So that's what inflation. A lot of people think, oh, inflation's down. They're saying, well, I go to the grocery bill and everything's crazy expensive, right? And that is true. It's just slowing down. So the Fed feels pretty good about that. But the unemployment numbers have started going up. So if we go back a year ago, last August, 2023, the unemployment rate was 3.4%. Now the unemployment rate is up to 4.3%. So unemployment is starting to spike up. Also, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, just came out on Wednesday and stated that the job creations were overstated by over 800,000 jobs going back the past 12 months. So the Fed is starting to get a little bit nervous that unemployment rate is starting to get too high and they're fearing a recession. So the Fed is now talking about cutting rates. Now, there is a site, CME Group, okay? Now, that CME Group is a service where what they do is they try to predict what what the Fed is going to do. So when you go online, you Google CME Group, you will see they were predicting the next Fed meeting, which is September 18th, that there is a 70% chance that the Fed is now going to cut 0.25%. And there's a 30% chance they're saying they're going to cut by 0.5%. Okay, so we don't know what that's going to be. The real key is going to be September 6th. The next jobs numbers come out. If those jobs numbers come out poorly, then in turn that prediction of a 50% basis cut may be much higher for that. So only time's going to tell. But September 18th is the next Fed meeting. September 6th is something to look at. Where are these jobs numbers coming in at that point? Now, that's where interest rates are going, why the Fed is now talking about rate cuts, why the rates went from 7.25, where now they're hovering around 6.5. And I do have to say this, 6.5. Once again, he mentioned 780 plus credit scores, primary residence, owner occupied, that kind of thing, single family, 25% down. So there's something called loan level pricing adjustments. So if your credit is a little bit lower than that 780, you're not going to get that 6.5% interest rate. So there are loan level pricing adjustments. They're just quoting, the top tier, the best rates, somewhere around that 6.5, maybe a little bit lower than that, maybe a little bit higher if you're not putting the 25% down, or if you're buying a family home, those kind of things. Now let's jump into the Philadelphia market, okay? The real estate market, what is going on? And I'm going to give you these numbers. This is from Altos Research. They do weekly updates of what's going on throughout every zip code, every city, throughout the country, okay? And these numbers are going to be from August 19th, 2024. August 19th, 2024, okay? Now, median list price of homes in Philadelphia is $275,000. $275,000. If we go back a year ago, 8/19/23, that was $265,000, okay? And now let me explain median. Let's say you have 2,000 homes for sale. That means 1,000 would be listed for $275,000 or higher, and there would be 1,000 listed less than $275,000. Okay, would be lower. So what we're doing is taking the median price. So half of the properties would be listed for more than the 275, half would be less, but that is the median number, 275, and there's been a $10,000 increase from same time last year. Now, median days on market. Once again, if I have 2,000 houses, that means 1,000 will sell faster, 1,000 will sell slower, and that is 63 days on market is the median time it takes to sell a home. 63 days. Obviously, some sell a lot faster, some sell lower, but 63 days, medium days on market. Last year, last August, it was 70 days. So it looks like sales are picking up a little bit, or homes are selling a little bit quicker than the same time last year, 8/19/2023 versus 8/19/2024. Now, price cuts. For all the listings that hit the market, how many houses have a price reduction, a price cut? Well, if we look at this week, 40% of all homes listed on the market had a price cut. If we look at last year, same number, 40%. So in August of 2023, 40%. Today, August 2024, 40%. Inventory. Where is inventory? Well, this week, August 19th, we had 2,486 homes for sale in Philadelphia, okay? 2,486 homes for sale in August 19th, 2024. Last year, there were more. 2,604 homes that were available for sale in 2023. So inventory a little bit lower, not quite as much. Homes are selling a little bit faster, not super fast, or the medium, but a little bit faster. Now, we have to take in consideration, if we look at last year versus this year, last year interest rates were rising, and by the time we hit October of 2023, interest rates were 8% or higher. Okay, right now the trend is the rates coming down, so we're around 6.5%. So it looks like we're set up to sell homes a little bit faster, and two, maybe sell more homes. So maybe that inventory will come down a little bit, because there's a big difference between 8% and 6.5% for the rate. So we're going to see. Now, I know, the talking heads, the smart people in the room for the past 2 years saying, hey, interest rates are going to be in the fives, and it never happened. But it looks like the Fed is finally, behind this with these jobs numbers really going, lower, and the unemployment rate going higher. So it looks like, rates will start coming down, which will make affordability much better for the average person, because the affordability is tough, because we know anywhere we go, supermarket, gas station, buy anything, everything's more expensive, and it tightens, the availability of what you can buy and what you can do. So as interest rates come down a little bit, the affordability will be a little bit stronger, and let's see if we end the year a strong fourth quarter with a lot of sales, or a lot more sales than what we did last year. So that's the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez. Be sure to follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe below. I have great guests come on all the time, and we do these monthly, market updates as well, just to give you an idea of what's going on with rates and the Philadelphia market. Also, leave me a comment. Tell me some show topics you'd like me to cover in the future. Remember, this show is everything real estate, no limits. I hope you enjoyed the show, and